Good evening, good evening, good evening. Good evening and welcome to the Tuesday evening Chatbout Talkshow with myself, Brother Charles, here on the Tuesday evening Chatbout show where we discuss loads of topics, various topics, so much topics we cover over the last, how many years? 6 years, nearly 6 years we've been doing this, and we have covered so many topics. Got another great one for you this evening, and really looking forward to hearing from what you have got to contribute to the show. Got a special guest in with us as well this evening, and hopefully my co-host will be here real soon as well. All right, so definitely saddle up for another great show. 2 hours of conversation. Remember, we are live on 6 radio stations worldwide, and we're all over social media as well. Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitch, where else? Mixcloud, and there's one more. Facebook. Did I say Facebook? We're all over social media. Oh, of course, my website, www.brothercharles.uk. All right, there's so many ways that you can listen to the show, so many ways that you can watch the show, but we definitely encourage you all to join us on our dedicated YouTube channel, which is The Chatbout Talkshow. All right? The Chatbout Talkshow on YouTube. We encourage you all to subscribe, share to your family and friends as well, and get involved over there on the live chat. Once you join us, share, and share again. Would love for you to do that. All right? So please get sharing, get involved in the conversation. Once we are ready for you to join the conversation tonight, we will give you the phone line number and you can call in and get involved on the show. But once again, share, and share again. We are all over social media, and got to thank all of the radio stations that stream the show live as well. All right, so God bless each and every one of you. Saddle up for another 2 hours conversation. Gonna bring in my special guest this evening. Still waiting for my co-hosts to join us. Once they're here, they'll be with us real soon. I'm definitely going to bring in my special guest this evening, and we will take the conversation from here. All right, let's see where we are at. Good evening. Hi, good evening, Trisha.
Hi, good evening. Hello, everybody. My name is Trish Musakanya, a.k.a. Trish M. Nice to meet you all.
Wonderful to have you here.
Thank you.
Is that how you want to be addressed, Trish? Is that okay?
Yeah, just call me Trish. Nobody should be coming on the phone and saying Patricia or Pat. I have no interest, okay?
Just ignore them.
Okay.
Just ignore them.
If you come on and say Patricia or Pat, you're in trouble with me. So just call me Trish, and that's fine.
Awesome.
I'm also going to be live on TikTok. People are asking where can they find us live right now. Can you just say that again? I've got a few.
We are all over social media. We're on TikTok. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube. We're on Instagram. We're on Mixcloud. We're on all social media platforms. DJ Brother Charles. On the socials, but the best place, as I said, send everyone over to YouTube. It's The Chatbout Talkshow on YouTube. The Chatbout Talkshow, CHATBOUT and Talkshow, all one word, Chatbout. Is that all right? I think you've got the link. You should have the link, the YouTube link, Trish. Let me see. Sorry. Okay. Apologies. Trish, are you there? You should have the YouTube link.
Are you live on YouTube now?
We're live. We are. Yeah.
I have sent them the link, but people said that they can't see anything.
So if you, all right, let me get it up to you.
Listen, the link is working. I've just tested it. You just got to press the link. Press the link.
We got my co-host with me, Minister Joshua Kesler. Minister Kesler, this is Trisha, Minister Kesler.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
Trisha.
Nice to meet you.
Bless.
Bro, you got some lines on you this morning. I don't know if it's the sun rays or the The heavens, the heavens of the Lord is opening up on you.
Yeah, it's the glory. It's the glory of God.
Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. Praise the
I don't know
Lord.
what that is. I don't know why. I don't know why that's happening. As a matter of fact, we never normally.
No, it's never
normally
normally like that. But how you been? You been okay?
Not too bad, man. Had a busy day today, but I'm good by the grace of God. Can't
Amen.
complain.
Amen.
How you doing?
All good. All good. We got a lovely Trisha with us this evening, and looking forward to a great show. Pastor Owen Uriah should be joining us in a hot minute real soon. But yeah, we're just going to roll on, man. We're going to roll on. Trisha, we have brought you on this evening. You asked, well, you got in contact with me because I know you are running singles. I'm going to let you describe it, where it is. It's a singles event, something you've been doing for a little while. And you had a problem with attracting the men, getting the men to come to your event. Is that correct?
I don't want to call it a problem.
Okay.
I want to say an inconvenience.
All right.
That can be solved.
Okay, definitely.
Not really a problem, because the thing is, the situation is there because essentially, let me say what I do so people can understand. So my name is Trisha, and I run Faithhood Connections. Now, Faithhood Connections, it's we run events for Christians. At the moment, we've got Christian singles events and social mixers. We have different age groups. We have 21 to 30, 28 to 42, 40 to 55. And coming up, we've got our first ever 50 plus. Now, in doing so, we started this late last year with our event being thriving from January. Because at Faithhood Connections, we are both believers and we live by the word. So essentially, even when you come on our platforms and stuff like that, or believe in Jesus Christ as our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ of Nazareth, we live by the word, and also we believe in celibacy before marriage. We're very straight, we're very direct, we're not mincing our words or trying to be like, oh, we want this to be for everybody. It's not for everybody, right?
Yep.
So when we're looking for Christian men and women, obviously we can't police everything. I can't police people's celibacy, for instance. But people who read that and see our content and see our vibe, it's very clear by what we believe and our morals and stuff. What I'm finding is that the events are thriving. It's always lagging in terms of like the Christian men.
Right.
So the events that I do are very much intimate events. So, for instance, when I do a Christian singles night and social mixes, it's completely balanced. It's 50% men, 50% women.
Excellent.
So you get up to 15 men, up to 15 women. It's intimate. It's lots of fun, icebreakers, games, and we do a little bit of speed dating halfway. And people get to meet people, and you just have a good time. Now, what I'm finding is that the men are very slow sometimes to get tickets. I hate to say this, but I'm going to have to be honest. My most difficult group, and they kind of pushed us to do an event for them, are 50 plus men. That's the most difficult group. And I don't like to use the word difficult. They're the most slow group to respond. I don't know why, in general, because like I said, from doing the different age groups, we were getting a lot of people emailing us saying, why don't you do 50 plus? And I'm like, we don't have a problem, we can do it, but we've got our first 50 plus event coming, and to be honest with you, where are the 50 plus men? Where are you? They're just so slow. They're not
can I just ask you, Trish? Can I just ask you, do the younger age groups jump at it?
Yeah.
Is it? Have you ever had to refuse the men?
I mean, we've had events. I don't really refuse anyone, because even if at events, we had one of our first events, as I said, it's up to 15 men and up to 15 women. So we normally like to go around the 12 mark area, so it's not too much. But sometimes we had like more guys than women, and that's okay. So we had like 14, 15 guys and those 12 women. And all the women were so happy. They were like, oh, this is amazing.
Spoiled for choice.
More guys than us. which was really good in that sense. But like I said, the problem here, I think the younger generation, and even with the revival of people going back to church and loving Christ, it's a whole revival. They get it. And even then, there's still problems. And when I say problems, it's still a bit slow slugs, but at least the slow slugs are coming.
Yeah.
But when it is coming with the 50 plus, it's very much like, yeah. Where are you?
Slow.
Where are you? That's my question.
Where are they? That's what we want to know tonight. We want to know why the uptake is so slow. Why what is the issue? What are the problems, if there are any problems? What are the issues, if there are any issues regarding this tonight? We want to find it out. I think Pastor Owen Uriah is here. Pastor, are you there?
Yes, bless you, brother. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear. Can't see you, but can hear you.
Apologies. I've just come from a meeting. Sorry, I'm late, everyone.
Wonderful.
I'm just trying to catch up with you now. So
no worries.
Wonderful to see our sister there. Wonderful to see you, sister. Bless you, Trish. Wonderful to see you.
Trish, this is Pastor Owen. Pastor Owen, one of the hosts on our show.
And bless you guys as well. And blessings for the listeners and everyone else.
Bless you, sir.
Wonderful to be here. I hope I haven't missed too much.
No.
Exciting.
Another reason.
Yeah, hey.
Another reason we're doing this show, and not only because Trisha's got an event coming up. You mentioned something that a brother got hold of you last week, Pastor Owen, regarding the same thing.
Yes. Well, it was about men really. Where are the men really? And we were having a church ball on Saturday.
Yeah.
And he came over. He said, "Listen to the show all the time." I'm hoping he'll call in actually and speak for himself. But yeah, wonderful to speak to him. A guy called Colin, and he had a chat with me, and he was just saying that the subject along these lines, there's other things that he had on his mind. But
yeah.
I just think it's great. I love these conversations.
Absolutely.
Obviously, I don't have these problems, because I've been... Yeah, but, I hear it. I hear it. And, we need to do what we can for our congregations. And
absolutely.
There's so many broken hearts out there. So, yeah, I'm interested to hear and learn something here tonight. So, bless you, sister. Thank you so much for the wonderful subject. Bless
absolutely.
you. Mr. Josh, always a blessing, sir. Bless you, sir.
Blessings, man.
Okay. So we are up and running. Got everyone in the seats, in the hot seats. Just want to check. If you can all hear and see us loud and clear. Hopefully you can see us and hear us loud and clear this evening. We don't want nobody saying there's any issues. The only issues we want to work out is where the men are tonight. All right. So let us know you're all on. Please share if you just joined us. Share, and share again. Tonight we want to unravel this issue. Are single Christian men frightened to approach single Christian women? Are single Christian men frightened to approach single Christian women, and why? Now, I've been running events for 12 years, Christian events, 12 years, and the ratio is really, really staggering. It's really bad. It's if not 90% women, 92% women. It's really bad. And the women are always asking, where are the men? Where are the men? Where are the men? We ask for the men and they never come out. We've offered free tickets for men and they don't want to take them. Now, we know the men are there. Is it that you're not interested in that type of thing? What are you interested in? How are you going to meet your significant other? Is it that you just rather stay single in the kingdom? What is going on? Has it always been like this? I don't think so, because I was born in the church and there was loads of families, men with wives. There were a few single men, but eventually they found their wife. And I know it hasn't been a problem in the early 60s, 70s, 80s. I don't know. I don't know who that is. But yeah, we are going to try and find out what the problem is, why there is this problem, and what we can do about it. gents, we really want to hear from you tonight. Fellas, we really want to hear from you tonight. We are going to open the phone lines real soon. So if that was somebody calling in to have their say nice and early, they can't wait. Just hold on, fire. One more, couple of more minutes. We just want to find out, ask a few more questions. How do the women make you feel when you approach them? Is that what's off-putting? Are they making you feel a certain way where you just don't want to? You don't fancy doing it anymore. You've tried it 2 or 3 times and the same thing. They're all doing the same thing, and it's off-putting, and you can't deal with it. What are the issues, man? We want to know tonight. We've already got a comment says they don't want the commitment. So what do they want? How
can you be kindred man and don't want commitment?
This doesn't make sense.
That's wild.
Does
You better get back in the secular world then.
Wow. No. We're not sending anyone back. we're gonna lay hands and pray it out. We're gonna have to do some tarrying. We're gonna have to do some tarrying with Pastor Owen and Minister Kessler. Is there anything you want to add to the conversation already, Trish?
When we get the guys and the women who ring up,
yeah.
I'd really love to hear your honest opinion. I don't want excuses though. Do you know what I mean? Oh, there's too many women at the events, it's overcrowded. I don't hear nothing like that. I want to hear like
real stuff.
Truth.
Real stuff.
Because it says that God says that a woman, you get favor. 2 is better than 1. So for me, I don't understand. And like I said, we do different age groups, but particular 50 plus seem to be very slow slugs. And I don't understand. I know some people have been married, maybe they got divorced and they're a little bit skeptical, but at least can you just come outside, like at least just to mingle, make friends, That would help. That would be a starting point. Socialize with like-minded believers, uplift yourself. We want to know what is stopping you from mixing and mingling. What's stopping you from mixing and mingling, men? You just don't even want to take the first step by the sounds of it. Is it just me? Am I wrong about this? Minister Kessler, what's going on, bro?
Right. Okay, let me just fling in some things here.
Why? Hey, right. Hey.
We've had this conversation so many times. And I'm really hoping tonight that the guys will call in. And really contribute to tonight's conversation.
We need them
want them to convey their concerns, if there are any concerns. They say that men don't talk, but men, yes, we do talk. But I know I talk. So I really hope that you guys will pick up the phone and convey what the issues are, either if there are any issues, maybe what you would like to see, etc., as it relates to these Christian single events. Maybe it doesn't appeal to you. I think one of the things that Trisha said earlier on is that it doesn't appeal to everyone. No. But for those of us who are looking for a life partner, this is a medium that you can utilize to meet someone. So maybe in your experience, you may have gone to a singles event and you're thinking like, why do I feel like I'm in church? Why do I feel like we have to have praise and worship and prayer and all this? It's just certain things. Men are, as we know, men are wired differently. So they think differently. And I think that's one of the things that sometimes we need to take into account. I think one of the things we spoke about, I think it even came up last week or a few weeks back, where, just as Trish was talking about, men, a certain demographic or a certain age group of men not turning up to these events. It's the same thing. We can apply the same thing to church. In some cases, why are the men not in church? What's going on? So is there something that we are not doing as churches to appeal or to attract men? So that's something. So anyway, going back to the question, it says, why are single men afraid? I don't know about afraid to approach single Christian women. So I just jot down a few things here. First of all, we often say we have one Bible but many interpretations. First of all, I think one of the things that we need to look at is this whole Christian thing as it relates to, are you even saved? Because there's a lot of people that's in church And let's just keep it real, keep it 100, because I kind of get the vibe from Trisha that she ain't come to play tonight. She's come to keep it real. Are you even saved? Are you even converted? Do you actually have a relationship with God? It was mentioned before, Trisha was saying, like, how could you be afraid of commitment if you're a kingdom man? You know what I mean? That shouldn't be an issue for you. So let's talk. I think we can. I'm just going to throw the points that I've got written down on paper. Are you even saved? Because I know in the church environment, we can pretend, we can put on a performance, we can act Christ-like for 2 hours. But once we leave the church setting, we become a different person. So let's talk about this whole thing of Christian. What does it mean to be Christian? What does it mean to be a converted individual walking with the Lord? So that's the first thing. And then I've got some things down here that I wrote down quickly. Because as I said, I've had this conversation before. I've done this type of show before. Some men have said in the past that sometimes they find it quite challenging to approach sisters in the church because sometimes they can appear to be quite angry or bitter or even rude. And that to them can be kind of like somewhat off-putting. I'm not saying this is not what I'm saying. This is what, based on a survey that I've done many years ago, based on this subject, this is some of the things that the men were saying. So angry, bitter, rude, like you got a chip on your shoulder. Some men may approach a sister, or let's say, for example, open the door. They say that chivalry is not dead. So a man may do something nice, open the door, etc. And then there's an issue. What does he want? Why are you opening the door for me? This kind of attitude. And it's like, well, if I was thinking or considering of sparking up a conversation with you, because maybe I may be interested, they say first impressions count.
Yep.
And that type of, and sometimes the man is not even looking for anything, but just the fact that someone is being nice, it's like he must be after something or want something. So that's just something I just wanted to try there. Then the other thing is appearance. And when I'm saying this, because I like to be balanced, as you guys know, this can be both ways, on both sides. Appearance. Men are physical. So, one of the first things that they would more or less be attracted to is the physical appearance of a female. Some men tend to go beyond that and want to, understand the intelligence, the intellect of that particular individual, etc. But men, we're hunters. So the first thing that we're looking for is that appearance. And sometimes men have said that, sometimes in terms of how individuals present themselves, it's not very pleasant, but we can also say that about men too.
Yeah.
Preferences. Certain men may have a particular type of preference or a particular type of woman female that they are attracted to or want to go for. Is this a good thing? Could we be missing out on our blessing because we have like a, let's say, for example, we hear about this dreaded list that we write down, the type of person that we want to be or the type of person that we want to connect to. Sometimes as well, they have said that, there's a lack of honesty. And as I said, this can be on both sides. People are not being truthful. And we can pretend a lot. It happens a lot within church. And this is how people have got hurt. People get let down, etc. And then the whole aspect of the event happening. Where should we do these events? Should we do these events in a church setting? Because as I said, sometimes I've been to 1 and 2 singles events, and I feel like I'm going to a church service. They come in, they start with praise and worship. Then the next minute, I remember one time years ago, I went to an event, and they got me, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, you don't know who I am, and that's absolutely fine. But why do I feel as if like you're trying to save me? Like you're doing praise and worship, then you're doing an altar call, then you're doing all of these things, then you got me down at the front of the altar, and I'm standing there thinking like, is this the singles event? I'm just like, what's going on? So I think we need to maybe think of different ways in terms of how we present our events. Do we always have to present everything in a church? Sometimes it's good to take things outside in a social setting, because you can kind of like really get to glean and see people in different. Because when we come into church, as I said, sometimes we act. We got this church mentality. Sometimes we think we need to take things outside. And I think sometimes we can put pressure. This is just my personal opinion. I'm not saying that we can't have themed events, but I'm thinking like, for men, when you're telling me to dress in all white or all red, me personally, I just want to come to the event. I don't see why I have to be, it's like pressure. You're putting Why do I need to dress up in white? Like, what would me dressing up in white? The convention? Was it, is it going to make me? I know I'm going to get shot down tonight, but I'm just talking straight. Some man is just like, I just want to come to the event. Why do I need to dress up in colours? But some people seem to think that these things work. But anyway, and I think it's just anyway. Let me just stop here. And what else have I got down here? I've got church environment. Do these Christian events work? I.e., president. I've talked about that. Event, church service themed. Those people are. And then I think another issue as well in terms of men struggling, or they have a challenge in terms of approaching females within, maybe say whether it's in church or outside church. If it's Christian, we're talking within the context of Christianity. I think sometimes it can be difficult because some people are very nosy. Some people are very intrusive. I'm talking about church people. Sometimes, a man may be interested, and I can talk from experience, in a female, and they make effort to have some kind of make a connection with that female. And once certain people in the church get a whiff of it, sometimes rather than encourage that process, what they do, they get involved and they do all they can to try and destroy that relationship because they have already decided in their mind who the person should be with.
What type of church you going to? What's going on?
Let me just throw these out, then we can have a conversation. I've seen it. It's like, and especially say, for example, they say that there is a saying that there's, when you come into church, obviously it's predominantly female. So when a man comes in, everybody's those who have a desire to be married. Everybody's looking at this particular individual. So, it's like there's this. I don't want to say competition. I don't know if the word competing is the right word, but people are trying to put their best foot forward with the hope that this person may be their potential spouse. But yeah, these are things that happen. So some men find it extremely difficult to approach because it's like everybody's watching, everybody's intrusive, everybody's just nosy, and these things have happened. I've known of people who have connected in church, and then once certain people, even some people become territorial. They don't even know the man, but they're looking at the sister who just had maybe just a normal relationship, a normal brotherly sister relationship, and they're looking and cutting eye, like, why are you talking to my man? Like, am I your man? No, I'm not. And then I will just stop here. And yeah, that's it. And maybe for some of us as men, this will be my last point, in terms of maybe our approach when we're approaching a female, maybe because we're coming from the secular world, the road, we may need to think about how our what would I say, how we approach and how we speak to a woman. We can't bring the same road mentality and thinking that we're going to come and speak to a woman of God in a particular way. Maybe some woman of God may find that attractive because of where they're coming from, so they don't see a problem with it. But for some females, they're like, no, your approach needs to be godly, needs to be respectful. You need to speak to me in a particular way. You can't be talking to me about, hey, gyal, we are there. I mean, there's a way to approach, and maybe this is where teaching can come in, etc. But anyway, those are the points that I'm just throwing out there to get the conversation going.
Cool.
So, that's me.
Wonderful. Pastor Ian, did you want to jump in at all?
No, thank you.
No, you're just here for the...
No. Just listen to right tonight, I think, but no, seriously, I think Joshua mentioned a few things.
Yeah.
In the, I'm obviously a bit old for this, but when I, in the people I'm around, I have to work with them still. And you know that we do a lot of relationship seminars and things. And I've got to say, there are a few dynamics, and Joshua mentioned a few, but I think we need to really consider, when we say things like godly men and godly women, I think we really have to have a good conversation on what we mean by that. I think Joshua just alluded to it, because our sister was very shocked when she heard him say something. What kind of church do you go to? But honestly, we have to ask the question sometimes, because some churches are very, very, they're just different. I love traveling around different churches, churches function, but there is language, there is body language, there's spoken language, all these different things that really matter. And I think things that we're never ever going to lose are things like personal desire. And Joshua mentioned, we talked about this many times on the show. There's sometimes there's a tick list. And I realize as well that it's not just men that have, women that have the tick list, the men have it too. Men have a tick list. There's a certain type of, she wants to look a certain way and she wants, but women like that too. They have to be a certain height, have to be a certain hue, color. Mm-hmm. They have to have a certain income. And the world, I think, has also put fuel to the fire with this as well. Because in the world nowadays, it's got to be this, it's got to be this, it's got to be this. I'm really encouraging people to find themselves first. I'm a great believer that if we can't be single, then we're going to be of no use trying to be connected to someone. We have to know who we are first. And I think that's what happens too much. And I'll just say, because we're here now, I struggle with people say, you hear it so often, you're my other half. Is it the other half or the better half and all this? I don't really go for all this stuff. The thinking that you complete me, that was it. We talked about this on the show a while ago. This thinking that you're going to meet someone who's going to make you whole. I think this is not godly. This is not godly thinking. But you don't have to agree with me. I'm just saying. And then we have this argument about the Proverbs 33, 30, what is it? Proverbs 32 woman, 31? Proverbs 31 woman. So now we're trying to be this kind of thing, The Bible says a man that finds a wife findeth a good thing. But many men are not looking for a wife. They're looking for a girlfriend. They're looking for someone to spend some time with. I'll be honest with you, if you're really looking for a wife, it's a lot easier than looking for a girlfriend and everything else, because the girlfriend can be your girlfriend this week, she can be somebody else's girlfriend next week. You see, so we have to really have some kind of order about how we go about things. And just to be a pastor, I have to take the stance that all these things start in prayer. And as you rightly been saying tonight, your events are full of people. As you said, Pastor, you said, when you do your event, it's full of men, full of women, no men there. Yeah. But we're not really fussed. Why? Because we just want to fill the event and sell the tickets at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Sorry, brother. I'm just calling it as it is. As long as it's successful, can be called successful. But it's a bit like me. It's a bit like how I see evangelism. I got so frustrated with concerts and things where our intention when we started was to see people get saved. When no one got saved, for me, that failed. People said, no, it didn't fail. One person got saved. And then we start saying things like, well, God, the angels never rejoice over one. Yes, I know, but that wasn't your intention. So I'm saying we probably need to be a bit more intentional about what we're trying to do in these events. As Joshua just mentioned, you get to an event and it's more of a worship event. I could have done that on Sunday anyway, And as I don't know what kind of events would be on, but we talked about this on the show before, dating events. There's so much could be done before we actually have speed dating, all this kind of stuff. There's so much things that I think that should be done before we can get to that stage. Can I just finish by saying this thing here? And I've just been writing about this in my new book that is coming along called The Trouble with Men. It'll be released next year. But serious note, I'm doing a book called The Trouble with Men, and I'm revising it because I've realized that men, I'm speaking on behalf of the men now, if the men don't feel engaged, they will disengage. And so often they're not engaged. In other words, they're not brought in. They have to be part of what's going on. Otherwise, what's their point? And if you're not using their purpose and their purpose is not being fulfilled, in a wife, in a woman, in a home, in a family, if they're not fulfilling their purpose, they disengage. And we've seen this all the time. And that's just from a man's point of view. I'm sure women would do the same. So maybe we, as Christians then, just to say this, maybe we really need to have a serious conversation about what we are really looking for, because we're so different, aren't we? Everybody's looking for something different. And I don't think we can just say, right, all those over that side will be with all those over that side. It's not that simple. If it was, the world would be different. Everybody is unique. And so we probably have to do some real good homework in finding who are we looking for? Where are we looking for them? You know, I've always said this to people, you know, if you're looking for a wife, I don't know if she's going to be in the club or on the streets, unless that's what you're looking for. You know what I mean? We need to look in the right place. If we're looking for gold, we need to go where gold is. Just a thought for the evening, really. I mean, I'm kind of really interested in this, and I'm hoping it's going to develop. So let's have hopefully some callers will call in. And I'm really interested to see where our sister has done and is going and what she has done. Because I love this subject, and it's a great subject. So bless you. So much more to be said. Bless you.
Absolutely wonderful. We are going to open the phone lines nice and early real soon. Trisha, before we go any further, do you just want to let us know about what your upcoming event is about and your target audience? And
Yeah,
that would be good.
Okay. Can we hear me loud and clear?
Loud and clear. Go ahead, sis.
Amazing. So just for the people who missed it earlier, I run Christian singles events and social mixers. And by the way, singles events is part of it. We've also got other things for people who are married and just want to have fun. But the upcoming events that we have for faith-filled connections, you can find us on Instagram and on TikTok, Eventbrite Faith-Filled Connections. We have Christian single nights and social mixers. Tomorrow we've got 21 to 30 because we do different age groups. We've got 50 plus coming up, supposed to be next week, but we are on the fence with this because of this problem. And then next month we have 28 to 42. That's going to be on Wednesday, the 27th of May. So, and then we cater for different age groups to 21 to 30, 28 to 42, 40 to 55, and 50 plus. So it ends up being like every 3 months you find your age group and you can come along and have a good time. I just wanted to talk about a few points we spoke about before. You said the point of like, sometimes people think they're going to go to like a singles event. You're giving an example and it's a bit like church. Number one, all my events are very stylish. I'm a creative, I'm a visionary. Anybody who comes to my events, if you visit us on TikTok right now, you can see for yourself. People always say, wow, this is amazing. I've done that purposely. Because I feel like when we go to church and things like that, we go to worship and have a good time. And it's great. But I want you to come out of church and be in the grown world and dress up and look nice and be around people. And when I say dress up, it's what you're comfortable in. Now, one thing I will say about our Christian singles events is that we do pray. Like, I believe God should be everywhere. So we'll start off the night with opening prayer. And then, honey, we're having fun and breaking it down and enjoying ourselves. Okay? Well, that's what the event is there, to mingle, to have a good time, to let your hair down and to really enjoy yourself. So that's what we do. For the people catching us now, we're just tuning in now, we were saying the problem that we find in our events, the younger crowd, 21 to 42, completely get it. We are having 50 plus a little bit too reserved. I'm not saying it doesn't happen in the younger group, but like, for instance, we have a 50 plus event supposed to be happening next week, Wednesday, the 29th. And we are like, we don't know if we're going to go ahead because in all our events, the balance ratio has to be 50% men and 50% women. And the men are just not showing up. Then they're being slow, you know, though, I don't know if I'm going to get the tickets now. And they're just not there. And I just don't understand what's going on.
Can I just stop you there, Trisha? Have you got enough women?
Oh yeah, I mean, I can.
That's never the issue.
The women and they'll be sold in 10 minutes. What do you mean?
Okay. Just wanted to check. We confirmed.
10 minutes. Honestly,
we didn't want a barrage of men coming and there's no women.
Yeah, that's why. We make it very clear with the girls and stuff. Even in our terms and conditions, I tell people I've never had to cancel. There was one event we had to move because of the space.
Yeah.
But if it's not a balanced ratio, we're not going to go ahead with it. Because I really don't believe, what's the point? It has to be fair, and that's the whole point. Because people's other problems is you go to Christian singles events and it's just all women. I'm not doing that. It's 50-50. Yeah. And my events are very intimate. Like I said, up to 15 men, up to 15 women. Right. Icebreakers, fun, having a good time, and you get to speak to every single person.
Okay.
We have a quick speed dating round, and it's really good fun. And a lot of people, when they come to the event, even if you don't find someone you're interested in, they leave with friends. You know, you have a community of other bold believers, like I said. We believe in Jesus Christ of Nazareth. We believe in celibacy before marriage. We live by the word. This is the type of people we are attracting. And even if you're not that, if you come to my event, you'll be uncomfortable.
Right.
The discernment and the spirit will be like, I don't think so.
Amen. I think I don't know if I heard you or I saw something saying that you've had a few couples have been formed out of your events.
So what's happened, Jess? So every event that we have, the first ever one we had 7 matches. Every event that we've had, we've always had matches. So you come to the event, and just to put people a little bit at ease, let me just paint a picture for you. Okay. So you're coming into the event, you come in, we do a nice mocktail, you even get a complimentary drink, you get your mocktail, you go and sit down. We're in Tottenham Court Road, Central London, so there's no excuses, everyone can make it. Start at 7 o'clock, the guest says, hello, how are you? You've got your mocktail, the beautiful ladies are walking in, the handsome men are walking in, you're like, oh, this looks good. We have a nice little icebreaker to warm you up. So just setting the scene. And it's just a lot of fun, and it's a lot of games. I forgot the question, actually. I've gone a bit on tangent here.
Yeah, no, carry on. It's sounding good. You're just giving us an insight to how your nights go.
Yeah, so that's what it's all about. And I made it very particular because although the Holy Spirit is there and we are all believers and having a good time, I want you to come out and socialise. And also what I've noticed as well, I did it purposely like this as well, because when we spoke a little bit about identity, you need to come out. A lot of people come to these events alone. A lot of people are single. Maybe 1 or 2 come with their friends and stuff, but in general, people come by themselves. It's intentional to mingle, to meet people. Oh, we were talking about matches. So every match that we have, for the ladies and the men that are listening, maybe you're like, oh, if I go to a singles event, is everyone going to be asking my number? No, you can't do that at my event. I know, I've thought of everything. At our event, if you meet someone that you like, we do a match form. So at the end, you get yes, like, or friend. So there's no pressure. The pressure's not even there. And if you connect and you both say yes, we contact the people and say, you two both say yes, would you like to connect? They say yes, you give the details and you go on your way. And in that way, we also see how many matches we got. So we've had 7 matches, 5 matches. Every event that we have, we've always got a match. We've never had an event with no matches.
Awesome.
So I think that's saying a lot.
Awesome. How do you help the less forthcoming the men, the shy men, should we say? I'm a little bit shy. How would you help me?
If you're shy, you don't. No, it's actually a perfect question, because if you're shy, you don't have to worry. Before you come to our event, we have a pre-event questionnaire.
Okay. And
on that questionnaire, we ask you a series of questions. So we find out who you're interested in, what you're looking for, age range, what their heart's like, their preference. We ask all the questions. If you're thinking in your head, are they going to ask that? Yes, we ask all the questions, yeah? It's not that long, but it's just to give us an idea. And we also then can know what type of believers that we have. And then within that question, we say to them, if you fill out this questionnaire and you've got something in common with someone else, then we're going to give you a little bit more time. So we do a little bit of matchmaking behind the scenes, you know. Yeah. So we're doing clever ways of giving you more time with people, both for the men and women. But the perfect thing about my event is that you will speak to every single person, whether you like it or not. It's the way we set up the games, the conversations, the fun. You are not going to leave there not speak. You will never leave my event and say, oh, I didn't speak to so-and-so. You will actually leave my event. Some of the guys who first came when I used to advertise it, I never used to talk about the speed dating, because they'll be like, speed dating? I don't think so. They'd like really be put off by it. So I just say, no, it's just a social event. It's just a social event to get them in. But once they get there and we do the little bit of speed dating halfway, you only get to speak to someone for like 4 minutes. They were just like, oh, it's amazing. And you'd be like, oh, time's up. They'll be like, oh, I've just got talking. I'm like, you didn't even want to do the speed dating. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, sometimes you have to come out of your comfort zone to actually see what you like. But when we're doing it like that, you are going to speak to every person. So by the time you finish and you've had a good time, you will leave and go, actually, I'd really like to connect with so-and-so again, or I'd like to be friends with that person. And if you do want to be friends, we've actually created a community group, which is going to be a membership group. It's only £1 a month. That's just for admin. And that's going to be a Facebook group. But it's all the people who've been at the event. And for the people listening for the first time, we're doing a Christmas party. So that's everybody 21 plus, all the singles, all in one place. So you just got to come.
Wonderful. Wonderful. It's happening next week. If you can put all the stuff in the chat, if you've got a chance to do that, Trish, that would be good. Next week, the event is taking place in central London somewhere on Wednesday. Tottenham Court Road, next week, Wednesday.
On Instagram.
29th. Okay. If there's anything else you'd like to say, Minister Josh, Pastor Owen, we're going to open the phone lines and try and get in as much people as possible. If you are listening and you're a man, you want to contribute, we want to hear from you. We really want to hear from you. Ladies, we want to hear from you as well. But gents, fellas, we want to hear from the men tonight. We're asking the questions aimed at the men. Where are the men? Are you frightened of the women? What's going on? What are the issues? we just want to know. Is there anything else you want to add? Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Just want to say that your microphone's a little bit low.
Is that better? Is that any better?
A bit more. You're really low.
A bit more.
Low. Is that better?
Yes.
That's a bit better, yeah?
Sounds better.
Okay.
Better.
Okay, good. Is there anything you want to add, Mr. Kessler? Pastor Owen?
No, I just want to say before you open the phone lines, you know how we do over here. We want everybody to have an opportunity to speak.
Yeah.
So we're asking the callers that when you do call in, please just make your point and say goodbye.
Straight to the point. Straight to the point.
Yeah.
No long thing. Straight to the point. Pastor Owen?
Oh, I've got a question for Trish. If you could just
please
define something for me. Just such, I'm an old man, so you have to take time with me, all right? Could you just define for me what you mean by having fun and enjoying?
Having fun for me is using your personality, mingling with people, not sitting in one place, not talking to anyone. Having fun to me is having interactive games, interactive scenarios. For the people who are watching live on TikTok, we are talking about why are some Christian men afraid to talk to Christian women. And the question is, what does fun mean to you? So that's for me, it's clean fun. It's laughing from your belly. It's having a good time. Like I said, we have mocktails. We don't serve alcohol at our event. I can't police that. If you wanted to go and get alcohol, I'm not going to stop you. But the whole point is everything is thought of. You're there to have a good time, to mingle, to socialize, to speak to people, to let your hair down. And what I mean, and just have a good time and just be a grown-up and adult.
That what you just said, let your hair down. Just explain that a little bit more to me, please. I have a reason for asking. I really do.
He's a little bit lost, Trisha, because he hasn't got hair. That's all it is.
It's fine. Letting your hair down to me is not being safe. It's not overthinking. It's not saying, I've come to the event, but I'm going to speak to my friend the whole day. You're not even allowed to talk to your friend. If you come to the Christian Singles Night, you're not even allowed to talk to your friend. That's what I mean by letting your hair down. It's being your true, authentic self. Yes, I'm forcing you to be it, but sometimes you need a little bit of a push, don't you, to just get yourself out there. And yes, you might say, well, it's a bit organised fun, but everything is.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. So if you want to have a good time, enjoy yourself, meet other people, let your hair down. That's what I mean. Just come and use your personality, speak to people. And every game or every scenario that we've created, it forces you to talk to people. And you know what I find that's really interesting? The minute people start talking to people, they get so relaxed that they'll come in a bit stiff. And they're like, actually, this is a vibe. But the best thing everybody says is, it's so nice to be around like-minded believers, to talk about Christ if I want to. Oh, what do you do in church? Or what's your job? You don't always get to be in those scenarios different from church. And you know what I mean? And then I also do a lot of competitive things at the Christian Single Associate events, and I do that by purpose. I find that when people are competitive, they have to show their personality. So I hope that answers the question.
Excellent. So what about us married men? Can I come? I'm joking.
For the married men, I'm actually going to answer that. So we have singles events are for people who are not in a relationship. They are single, no girlfriend, no nothing. But we have other events. Like we've got a summer event that we're doing with a collaboration, and that's just a social mixer for everybody. So we do cater, but I'd say the majority of us, if we have to start of 100%, I would say 70% of our events are for singles, and the remaining 30 is for everybody else.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Can I just ask one question before the lines are open? You did say earlier, Tricia, that when, let's say, for example, if a male or female are interested in each other, there is a process in terms of connecting those two individuals. In terms of, what's the word I'm looking for? Do you do any type of, I don't know if the word is vetting, because sometimes people can mask, just in terms of safeguarding. Because people can turn up and say, "Oh, I am this." They present themselves as this, and they're not really that. Is there anything you can share in regards to that?
Yeah, the first thing I can say is that it's exactly like church. Church is a hospital. Everybody can turn up and be something that they're not. When you're never going to be 100% in a place where you know who everybody is. But that's why we do the pre-event questionnaires. And also, I just think it's also God's discernment. The way that it's set up, if you are not a Christian and you go to Faith with Connections event, or even just read we tell you straight away, even if you go on my event right now, you can go and see for yourself. It will say, we believe in this. As soon as you buy a ticket, we send you an email say, this is what we believe in, and this is what's going to happen on the night. You need to fill out a pre-event questionnaire. Obviously, it's required, but if someone's like, I really don't want to, I'm like, why? And that's not because I want to be nosy, but we need to have an idea of who's going to be in the room. And then the other thing that I implement as well is that even when we're doing Facebook Connections, I pray over this. Like, even though it's a social thing, I'm like, God, lead me. God, give me discernment. And I can give you an example. We did have an event where I knew definitely that person should not have been at my event, but they were so uncomfortable they left, because that's the Holy Spirit bringing the words. If everybody's in agreement and everyone's the same, you're going to stick out like a sore thumb. You won't even want to be there anyway. Do you see what I mean? So, like I said, I can't police everybody, but all I can say, this is what we believe and this is what I stand on. And every media platform, wherever you go on TikTok, you go on Instagram, you go on Eventbrite, you will see what we stand for, what we're going to do, what's going to happen. And then it's really funny because even people on the emails are like, we definitely knew what night it was going to be, because we say it so many times. Even if you're like, it's not for me. And sometimes people thought, just don't come. They say, oh, I can't make it. Or sometimes we get people that arrive at the event and they feel, I don't know, it's just, they feel the spirit and they're just like, oh, like I had a lady, she's like, oh, I've just got a bit of a headache. She didn't have a headache. She knew it wasn't for her. And that's okay. Same with guys. Because I never wanted it to be, I said, God, when I'm doing Facebook Connections, I don't want this to be a thing of, what's the word I'm looking for? Because sometimes when people think of Christians, they think really easy. Oh, these easy Christian girls or these easy Christian boys. Because especially if you've been raised in the church, I've been in the world and the church. So I've got the street knowledge, but I've also got the church knowledge. So I can figure it out real quick, right? But not everybody has that. So when I was doing it, I was saying to God, you have to send me the right people. And even if someone's not right, it has to be so obvious that they themselves cannot stay. And I can guarantee you, they don't stay.
Awesome.
Good. Nice.
I can't guarantee, but you know what I mean, in general, believe.
Wonderful. Is that okay, Pastor?
Oh, I didn't ask the question. I'm fine. This is good. I'm just enjoying myself.
Okay. We ain't going to waste any time. Almost an hour into the show, just over an hour to go of the show. So we want to try and get in as much callers and responses to this question this evening. Let's play the disclaimer, and then we will give you the phone line number. And once you hear the phone line number, you are free to call in. Let's give you the disclaimer.
Disclaimer. This group takes no responsibility and will not accept liability for any communication via discussions or other modes of communication from individuals or as a separate entity that causes offence. We do not aim to purposefully generate anything that is intentionally malicious or slanderous. Our aim is not to provide misleading information that could lead to harm of any nature.
Interact and call the studio on 07 534 610 422. Interact and call the studio on 07 534 610 422.
Okay, phone lines are now officially open. You want to give us a call? The number is, again, 07 534 610 422. That is your cue to call in. Let me go through the chat and just see what the audience is saying. Okay, caller, if you can call in normally, not on WhatsApp, please just call in normally. That would be absolutely wonderful. If you can do that, we would love to hear what you've got to say. All right. Apologies, no WhatsApp calls this evening. Just call in normally on the number, and you will get through. All right, please do that, and that would help us out a lot. Why are okay? Where are we? I feel that most over 50s men want younger women. What's going on? Hang on. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. I saw you doing some lip reading, some lip stuff. Okay, yeah, let's go back to the chat. I feel like most over 50s men want younger women. I think also don't call it singles night, call it something else, i.e. karaoke
Like
night.
because it's not
Karaoke night, playing games night, roller disco, salsa night, etc. Or even going to the pictures night. I'm just reading the chat.
Fair enough, but I think if you call it that, it's not what it is. Like, it's a Christian singles night and a mixer, because you know what you're going to get. It says what it is. When you start hiding what it is, then you're going to get a different crowd. If you can't take, let me not get on off, but if you don't like the name of it, and it's saying what it is, I don't know, maybe the problem is you. Maybe you're the problem.
It's just the pen's just dropped for me. Sorry, I came in late, you see. So, your voice, you see, I'm listening to you speaking. I think Tottenham Court Road, Tottenham. She don't sound like Tottenham to me. Now I get it. So you've been told
she's seen, Pastor, she's seen the light. She's seen the light.
Trish, Trish is a northerner. Trish, right? No, I got it now. I don't get the link. Got it now.
There you go.
So you're kind of upfront with everything and straight to the point with everything. Is that how to do it? Yeah. At least that's what I learned, yeah.
I think that's how you should be in life anyway. I think you should say it as it is.
Yeah.
And you should feel. I don't mind rude people. Don't be rude with it. But if we're going to have a real honest conversation, then let's be real and let's talk about it.
Let's stick a pin there. Stick a pin, Trisha. Stick a pin right there. Let's get this caller on the line. Hi, good evening, caller.
Good evening, Brother Charles and panel.
How you doing, bro? You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine, thank you.
Go straight in, bro. Go straight in. What would you like to say?
Okay, firstly, good evening to Brother. Apologies, Pastor Uriah. It was myself. He spoke to him.
Okay.
Cool. Oh, bless you, Connie. Thank you. Bless you. Thanks for calling.
My topic is slightly different to mine. I'm more of why are men not seen in church, and I suppose there is a bit of a crossover into this subject.
Why are the men not seen in the church, did you say?
Yeah, we're just absent, but that's slightly different to what you're saying. So Brother Pastor Kessler just mentioned it earlier on in his comments. For me, in relation to this topic, I think I wouldn't say men are afraid to approach women, but I would probably say, because it's a Christian background, I think from the past of the way men are, the way men were. To approach a Christian woman in a Christian setting is probably a bit too much for some of the guys, in taking into account where they're coming from. They're coming from the street. It's a bit, I don't know, hands-on, so to speak. And then they're coming to church and meet a Christian woman who's not of that way, don't accept such language, don't accept certain behaviour. That immediately can be off-putting or will be off-putting to a lot of men. They probably think they can just get away with their non-Christian lifestyle against a Christian woman with a Christian lifestyle. So I think that is a problem, but that's a man problem, not a female problem. I think that just spills over. I think the speed dating, or maybe that's probably not the phrase that the course that this lady will put on, it sounds very appealing to a lot of men. It would do if I was single, if I was of that age, and so on, or of any age. But why men aren't taking that up, I just think they just don't. Someone said something about commitment. I want a commitment. I think there is an element of not wanting commitment. There is an element of not wanting to be a solid man in the home, a Christian man in the home. And I think that spills over in some aspects why men are not seen in church. I mean, the dating thing or the course, or I don't use dating, that sounds a bit, I don't know, the Sun newspaper day, but I understand that there's the course that this lady's put on for Christians to come and interact in a fairly safe environment, like-minded people. To me, it sounds something a lot of people should go, a lot of men should go, and a lot of my male friends should go to, but for some reason, they see a Christian woman and they just seem to turn the other way for whatever reason. And that's what I tend to think from what I see in my own groups and peers.
Any reason why it is you reckon that happens, bro?
You could be watching too much TV, expectations from the other partner, from the other person, their peer groups, maybe feeding them nonsense and rubbish into their head, saying you should be doing this, you should be doing that. Maybe just the female just don't want to be going in and out of dates with different guys and so on, going nowhere fast. Maybe the lady wants to see someone who's committed, who's honest, and knows how to treat a lady, so to speak, and especially if there's a Christian element in it. They don't want to be going out clubbing and pubs every night of the week. Yes, they may want to go to a coffee shop every now and again. Yes, they may want to go out for a meal. Yes, they may want to go out to the pub for a pub lunch. But I think when you're more non-Christian, your behaviour's a lot different. And I think when you're more Christian, again, your behaviour's different again. So maybe... Yeah. Okay, then.
Sorry, sis.
Yeah,
okay.
I don't agree about the going out. So I'm going to speak as a Christian woman, right? Because you're saying maybe they don't want to go out. A lot of my Christian friends have the problem of, I want to go out, I want to do things. People want to go out on dates and speak to people. They don't just want to meet one guy, because that's also the problem in the church. You meet one Christian guy and you get married. It's like, no, can I date a few, please? Can I do a good 6, 7, 8, 9, 10? No, I'm just giving an example, and then see personalities, what you like, how do you treat me. And in the world, I guess, and I'm not assuming you're going out, people think about like, oh, yeah, raising and stuff like that. No, just a normal Christian girl we want to go out. We want to mingle, we want to do nice things. We can go bowling. Just because we don't have to go out and get wasted and do that, but there's lots of other things we can do. That's one of the problems that I find with my girlfriends. They're like, my goodness, I don't want to sit at home. Like, I want to go out and do stuff and live life, because you're young. For me, I still think whether you're 20, 30, 40 or 50, people want to go out and enjoy themselves and have a good time. But if you're not even getting the Christian guys like calling you or inviting you out on a date, where are you going?
Well,
we're not going to go out.
Okay, that's
I just wanted to quickly just interject that, because I thought that was a very interesting statement that you made there, Trisha, about wanting to date more than one person to get to know different personalities. As you said, to see how this person is treating me, how they behave, etc. For some of us as men, because this is interesting. For some of us as men within certain Christian circles, if you date more than one or two people, it's like and let's say, for example, it doesn't work out, you're seen as, don't date him because he's already dated that sister and that sister. And I'm just thinking to myself, and I think we've had this conversation on the show before. Yeah. And from a male perspective, how many females are we allowed to, let's say, for example, connect with or date before we find our potential spouse? Because sometimes when you date more than one or two or three, you've been labeled now. They give you a label as if like that's a no-go area. Yeah, if you understand. Interesting. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't think that label should be there. And again, it's different generations, isn't it? Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, when you're dating as well as a Christian, there's discernment. When I know I'm exaggerating, like 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm just doing that for jokes, but I'm being serious. Even for you as an identity as a person, how are you going to know what this man is like and that man is like if you're not going on dates. You're not going to have a clue, right? So you're going to go and meet one guy, don't get me wrong, people meet people and they're like, I knew straight away, it happens. Yeah. But you still need some sort of experience to speak to different people. You see, that's why you need to come to the event, because you get to speak to everybody. You see?
Yeah,
you get to see all of them. You get to speak to.
I know we got the call. I know we got the call over the line, and I just want to quickly throw something in there.
Yeah.
Dating is not a commitment. Dating is just collecting information, getting to know someone. It's not a commitment, because I think even sometimes in regards to that, you start speaking to someone and one person is thinking that you're in some kind of exclusive relationship, and you're thinking like, no, I'm just getting to know you. And this is where wires can get crossed, people get confused. And I think it's important that when we are on the going through this dating process, you make your intentions known from that. We're just dating, we're just getting to know. There is no commitment, but then as during the course of the process, as you begin to get to know one another, if you feel that this is going in the direction that you want, then you can then say, you know, we're going to be dating each other exclusively. Because I know there are many people out there who get caught up in this whole madness of, oh, but you, especially from a male perspective. I'm just talking from a male perspective. You start speaking to someone, immediately in the person's mind, they're thinking marriage. They've already bought their dress. They've already gone down the aisle. They've already seen the family, and you're thinking like, I'm just getting
Mate, no, it's true. It's not just women.
Yeah. Well, it's true. It's true. It's on both sides. But anyway, back to the call.
Sorry, bro. You're on the line. Anything else you want to say quickly before we cut you?
Just go back to the numbers game.
Yeah.
I think that is a factor, and I think depending on what church you attend, I think that can play a bad part. Pastor Kaz just mentioned it. You know, someone saying, "Oh, yeah, she dated 3 or 4, he's dated 3 or 4, and so on." But you are right. I think coming to the event, come to such an event, just mingling with people, like-minded people, and even if you don't like anyone there, at least you can leave with Christian friends, Christian like-minded friends, and take that to the next level.
Okay. Yeah. Wonderful. Thanks for your call.
Okay, thank you.
God bless you, bro. Bye. Thanks for opening the line. Bye for now. Okay, we just had another drop caller. If you want to call back, please do. The number again, 07534 610 Just want to read one or two messages. No. As a woman in her 50s, I do not agree with multiple dating. Lord.
Yeah, but you're not dating them at the same time. Can we clarify what that means? Multiple dating is having 3 or 4 different people on the go. I do not sign up to that. We are talking about you go on a date with someone. You can go on a date on the first time date and go, that's not for me. And if someone else, you try again. You know what I mean? We're not saying date 3, 4 guys.
Okay. Stay there. Stay there, Trish. We got it. Stay there. Let's take this call. Good evening, caller. Good evening.
Hello.
Hi,
Hello.
Good evening. Hi.
Good evening. Hi. I would like to just give the word of encouragement, really.
You would like a word of encouragement?
Just a word of encouragement, because I'm just listening to your live stream there, and I was just thinking in regards to, to the men.
Okay. Is there not a question you would like to ask, or what are you struggling with?
No, I think as a lady, I just think that, you know, within the church, we often get a lot of help in terms of, you know, going to various ministries, getting help with, you know, emotional problems that we may have, just getting the help. Whereas I think with men, there's no help there for them within the church. A lot of them do lack confidence, and I just think it's a nice thing to maybe introduce more sort of men ministries, whether that be within sports or whether it be, you know, whatever it may be. I just believe that the men seriously need help.
Okay.
And the older men need to help. Well, they need to help the younger men too, but they also need to help just men in general. I think they just need to help the men. Really just, you know, to help them with their confidence and, appearance just the whole shebang, really. You know what I
Okay,
mean?
I think that's on the lines of our first caller. The men are not being seen, they're not being heard, they're not being they're not being brought in.
Catered for.
Yeah.
They're
Pastor,
not being, sorry? I didn't hear that. What was that?
Catered for.
they're not being catered for, they're not being included. Was what our first caller was basically saying. Pastor Owen, is there anything you can help our sister with?
No, I think, Trish, you're doing an amazing job, Trish. It's Donna, by the way. How you doing? And
Hey,
hello
to
Okay.
and hello to my ex
one of your fan club, Trish?
Brother Desmond.
Pastor.
Can I ask, since we've got you on the line, Donna, can I ask you a question? And I want you to be really honest.
Yeah, go ahead.
Right, so how are you you don't have to go into age and stuff, but how are you finding, are you a single woman? We don't assume.
I am. Yes, I am.
And how, in terms of your caliber and group of men, how are you finding it out there in the singles game? Be honest with the men. Are they approaching you? Are they coming to talk to you? What's going on?
Well, to be quite honest, I don't particularly belong to any church at the moment. So, but the church that I did belong to, the first church where I got saved, became born again, I found that the men that would be approaching me would be guys that, probably guys that I would bring to church, a few of them. And one or two did approach me, but they just weren't my type. They were a lot older, their appearance wasn't really my thing. Do you know what I mean? I wasn't attracted to them in any way. They weren't really serious either, so they would come like once every 6 months or whatever. And I just think they just sort of came. Yeah, they just came as and when they felt like, and it was more just because they wanted to just, have someone to date. They weren't really serious. They didn't really have a proper, strong Christian life. So, so I weren't really interested. But, most of the time when I do get, asked out or chatted up or whatever, however you want to put it, it's usually in work or, in the secular world, or just out shopping or at the gym, that kind of thing. Otherwise, I don't really get approached, really, not with Christian guys.
Okay.
Yeah. So, as I said, I did think it's a case of, with the men, they really do need help. And just having friends in the church, male friends, they often lack confidence, a lot of them. I grew up around a lot of men, like in terms of like my cousins being all male, and seeing how they were growing up in the church. They were very confident, and very, forward and open and just outspoken, and they were just confident guys, and they still are, and I just think to myself, the men are really lacking. They need help. They really need help for the single ones. And there are single men in the church. There are quite a few, but which I know of, but they just need help. They really do need help.
All right. No worries.
But what do you mean? What do you mean by help? Helping?
What type of help do you think they need?
So with the ladies, us ladies, we have our groups, don't we? We have our virtuous women, women of purpose, all these different ministries going on where we go to them, we attend them, and we get the help that we need, in terms of growth, yes, in terms of spiritual growth, in terms of how to, finance your money, to take care of your finances and stuff like that. So, there's things out there for us.
Let me just bring in Pastor Owen.
The men are left behind. Another thing as well, which I find as well with us ladies.
Give us 1 second, a minute, Donna. Pastor Owen, is this right? Is there not much going on in the church for the men? On the whole?
Sorry, you're talking to me, brother.
I am, yeah. Is there not much?
Sorry, you're talking to me.
No.
I'm just enjoying the conversation.
Is there not much going on for the men?
I've been doing men's ministry for over 30 years.
Right.
And, I'm going to tell you, it's very, very difficult getting men to realize that we actually need each other. And I think a lot of that's down to, big boys don't cry, all this kind of teaching we've had as youth. We feel that we don't need no help because we're supposed to know the answers already, aren't we? That's the way we was raised. But I'm listening to our sister talking. She said the men need help, and I think we do. We do need help. I mean, I'm first and foremost. I'm happy to take help.
Thank you. Hallelujah.
However,
yeah.
my questions are always, how did we get to the place where we now need help? Because I can go back to my upbringing in my younger days. I didn't need no help. My parents didn't need no help. Something happened. Something happened to the men. And I'm telling you now, church and our environment, men have really been emasculated, which is a conversation for another day.
That's the word.
You see, we just don't know. And I've written down some things here, which I'm going to put into my book next year. But, we just been talking about it here. How know how to treat a lady. Who teaches us that? You see, our sister Trish, and it's wonderful listening to this tonight, to be honest, because she said she likes to go out, she likes to do this, she likes to do that, and some men don't know how to do that, and I don't want to talk too much about the men.
Yeah.
We don't know how to take a lady out. However, Minister Joshua said earlier, we also have to be careful, because the minute that we open a door for a woman, boy, you're in trouble. Because you got some that really they'll be upset with you. Now, I find that really strange.
That's
well, yeah.
I've never heard that before. No, that's madness. I've never heard that before.
Wow.
Let me just be real, because I don't make up stories, true stories. I remember I was at a ministers' conference, and a true story. I'm not going to stories, true stories. And I remember, as I am, because I'm one of those guys that open doors for ladies,
Yeah.
But if you're not a lady, I won't open the door for you if you're not a lady. I won't. Because no, but no, seriously. And one of the ministers was coming through the door, and I held the door open. She said, "It's okay, I can hold it myself, thank you."
Oh my God!
We're talking about ministers. Now. No, I'm just saying, you've got to remember. You got to remember where did the change happen? Where men were really the predators, because we're predatory by nature. Where we go, we start territory. We go and take over. That's what we do as men. However, we're not allowed to.
Yeah, let me just cut you there. I just see it as, right, this is how I see it, yeah? Mm-hmm. Because you see, like my dad wasn't a Christian. He was a believer, God-fearing, but he wasn't into the church and all of that. He just thought they were a bunch of hypocrites. But saying that, my uncle now, who I grew up very close to, he was a pastor in the church, yeah? Mm-hmm. And his wife was an evangelist. My mother was a Christian. And the way they used to have banter, just the men, just the men, they would sit round each other's home, and they would have a laugh. They would, be watching their Muhammad Ali playing boxing, whatever. They'd have, my dad would be drinking these little, whatever, Guinness or whatever, and have his cigarette or whatever. And the men are all there. These are Christian men, proper, strong, powerful men of God, that walked in the fruits of the Spirit, were powerful. They'd go and pray for one person in the hospital, and the whole ward would get healed. These are the type of men that I grew up around. They were heavyweights. But when it came to things like sports, they loved sports. So they had things to talk about that they had in common. They'd go to the barber shop or whatever, and again, they would have some of the Christian men that would go to the same barber shop. So they had big conversations. They would also have an allotment. So they had lots of things in, lots of interests, had a lot in common in terms of keeping the dialogue and having conversation and mixing and, and encouraging them as well. And so, as I said, so I just think it's a case of the men are very stuck up in the church. They think they're superior, you know what I'm saying? Some of them, because at the end of the day, you've got cousins, you've got family, you should be telling them about the Lord, telling them and spreading the gospel. It shouldn't just stop on a Sunday. you know? And then you've got your workplace as well, your colleagues in your workplace. So my thing is, what we need is for the men to have ministries where they can empower each other, yeah? And it doesn't have to be in a church setting or in a kind of singles night, whatever setting. It could be a football, it could be sports, boxing, whatever you enjoy doing, do you know what I mean? Chess, and just meeting up with the men to empower each other, you know, and encourage each other and say, come on, men, we can do this. Because we're supposed to be, you know, enjoying life, you know. Jesus came that we could have life and have it more abundantly. And I just see it as the men need to enjoy. They need to enjoy, you know, their Christian walk. A lot of them look grumpy. They look miserable, vexed, upset with the world. You know what I mean? And that's not how it's
okay. All right.
Know?
Sis, we're going to try and get in as much callers as we can. Thank you for sharing.
Sorry,
not at all. Not at all.
Brother Charles.
God bless you.
Job.
Thank you. We're going to try and get some more men out.
Trish as well. Thank you.
God bless
Take
you.
care.
Thanks for your call.
Bye.
All right. Take care, people. Give us a call. Give us a call.
Interact and call the studio on 07 534 610 422.
The men in the church just look with so much women to choose from. The men in the church just look with so much women to choose from.
How come you're not choosing?
How come they're not choosing?
How come you're not getting married?
Absolutely. But this, I'm not sure if that's from a man or a woman, but we need to hear from the men tonight. Men, it's your time to call in. Please give us a call. Things have changed because many women have had to run their houses, look after the children, pay their own bills, and so forth. It has made many of them hard. Is that correct?
Well, not everybody who's single has got children. So again, unless if we're talking about a certain demographic, then I can understand. I do hear that a lot sometimes. Oh, older women can be so bitter and really hard work. Well, old men can be miserable. You know, we can say that all day long. But my main thing here is that, where are you? If there's so many women to choose from within the church, that caller said, oh, men have got so many choices. Why? How come you ain't got a ring on your finger then?
Absolutely.
Huh? Why are you not married?
Absolutely. If we had a free dinner or lunch day, the way to a man's heart, if we had a free dinner or lunch day for men to bring them into the church, food brings men into the church, then this will break the barriers. Is that correct?
Why does it have to be free? You've got money. And man, that's cheap. No, you know, I say these points as well because, you know, I find, and please, I'm not trying to be, I don't want anyone to feel like I'm being rude or like that. I'm just being very honest because, you know, we go to church, we do the church talk. We're doing the real talk and we are Christians. Let's be honest, right? Was it not just you, Brother Charles, who was saying, we've done free tickets.
We've tried giving out free tickets.
Free food.
We've tried it.
It's nothing to do with the free food and the dinner.
We've tried it.
It's deeper than that. Like, why do some
is.
men in a certain demographic not want to show up? For the people watching who've just joined in now, the demographic we're talking about, for instance, for this one is like 50 plus, which is
Pass that in.
No, I'm enjoying the conversation. I've got to say again and again. But you know, I don't think any of this is that simple. And I know everyone from every age group will have their point of view. You see, when people don't come to your store to buy your goods, you have to ask yourself: is there something wrong with the store or something wrong with my goods? There's got to be a reason why these men are not wanting to go. And really, already tonight we've heard some words that maybe we need to think about the words we use, because I do love having men's group with real conversations. We need to talk about the issues of life and the real stuff that, you know, because I know what, as Joshua mentioned, you know, if we've got somebody meeting, all we're going to do is pray, and then we're going to talk about the Bible. And I've had people tell me, you know, I'm not coming to your men's group because it's too rough. They're too harsh. Because we say to men, well, why aren't you doing this? You know, we kind of, you know, it is what it is. We keep it real. But we use words like dating. That's why I'm taking it back a little bit now. When we mention dating, your idea for dating is, well, we're just going out for a meal, or we're just going out for so-and-so, and I get that. But then if someone else doesn't see dating as that, they see it as something else. That's why it was important that we understand the words that we use. See, singles, someone mentioned here tonight already, why you call it singles. because there are some people that get offended by the word single. You know, why have I got to come to a singles group? I'm not saying to do it or not. I'm just saying we really don't do any research really into why we got to where we are. And I'm going back to what I was saying, you know, there's a reason why we are where we are with men. And our sister was just saying the men are grumpy and the men this. We could say the same about women too.
Yeah.
Because I tell you what, the church is full of all this kind of stuff. That doesn't help us, really. It doesn't help us. I think we need to be honest and have some real research, because I truly believe, I agree with what she says. They took away a lot of the men's things. The things like the pub. You know, down here in Birmingham, I mentioned this on the show before, there was a riot and they took all the pubs away. Well, the pubs was our playground. That's where we went to connect with each other and be men. They took them away. You know, the Muslims are very good at this. They have their little congregations where they sit down together. And I know what the sister was saying, because my dad always used to have music on weekend, and the guys used to come around and sit down and drink their beer and chat and do whatever. That is very empowering. I have something called Saturday Soup, where, you know, the guys come around, we eat Saturday Soup and just chill out together. And we have the conversations, sometimes in the language that we know. And we're okay with that. You know, we have to be okay with that, you know. I still want to get back to the root of why, when you're asking the question, why they're not coming, is not so we just assume they're not coming because they don't want to come. There's something missing. Though you're offering this wonderful, you know, buffet, I put on a wonderful spread, and they're not coming. There's got to be a reason. Because they all like to eat. Ain't no real men that I know that don't like women. Love women. There's got to be something else. And that's why I'm praying, God, what is this thing that we're missing? You know, and you've just been talking about tonight. This can go on forever, this conversation, I know. But what kind of, we mentioned it earlier, you know, this godly women. I truly believe godly men want godly women. And godly women want godly men. Yeah. The question is, what do you mean by godly? True. That he goes to church, that makes him godly? I don't think so.
No.
He says he's born again, that makes him godly. I don't think so.
Not necessarily, yeah.
You see what I mean? Now we've got a lot of conversations to have, you know, and this is why I wrote the book, The Successful Relationship, because I realized when we were talking, when we have these conversations, we never really go into detail about what you mean by commitment. Because that was the start of the show. Our sister really jumped down on us and said, well, you're not committed. What are you doing here? Well, it all depends what you mean by commitment. Because my idea of commitment probably ain't the same as yours. Not that we're wrong. It's just that we wasn't raised on this. Listen, let me give you a true story. Again, a lady said to me many years ago in one of the seminars on relationships, she said she don't care. She sees commitment as long as wherever he goes, he does what he does, as long as he comes home to me. That was it.
That's sad. That's really
the problem is she didn't think that was sad. So now we got to try and figure out what kind of woman this one wants. Because I would be thinking to myself, you don't love me enough to want me for yourself.
That's right.
You see what I mean? And that's why Joshua says, hold on. Men, they date, you know. Why can't we just be friends? Why can't me and you go out and have a meal, talk to the pictures, do this or whatever, and just be friends and be friends until God connects someone? What's wrong with that? Now, let me give you one more story and then I'll get off. Sorry. I remember a couple at church, they were getting very close and chatting with each other. They were just chatting. But then somebody said, oh. I said, no, stop it. Stop it. He gave her a lift home. You know, all of a sudden we put 2 and 2 together and make 24. You see, that's why sometimes we're afraid. That's why the fear comes in. I can't even say hello to someone sometimes for somebody else, let alone the person. Because we've had it, you know. We've had it. Let's be honest. We've had it right from the nightclub. You know, you go to someone. I was at the church ball on Saturday, and I noticed something else that doesn't happen anymore. Because I watch. I'm a reflector. The music was playing, you know. And Brother Josh, I don't know if you noticed this over the years. The music was playing, and I noticed that when I was younger, we used to dance with girls together. We would hold each other, and I watched the elders. Because don't forget, we had all age groups. And as our sisters talk about the 50s and over, the 50s and over were holding each other. But the younger ones, they don't go. They just, you know, or back to back or whatever. It's different now. Different people doing different things and calling it normal. So I don't know what you're going to call normal. A normal man and a normal woman coming together. We've got some challenges, haven't we? And the world is fed into this. And let's not even get into the LGBT and all the different opinions that people want to have. I'm them, they, I'm binary, non-binary. All this you've got to do with you're a cis man. Somebody says to me, I wrote that in the book. So you're a cis man. So what's that? I never knew what they was talking about. What the meaning of my man? So I heard. I mean, come on. There's a lot of work to do here. Really, is a lot of work for us to do. But I want to know, how did we get here? Because I'm a great believer. We can't build a building until we deal with the foundation. Stop chat now, Owen. Stop chat. I'm off.
All right.
We're going on.
Phone lines are open. Give us a call.
I'm loving it now.
Interact and call the studio on 07 534 610 422.
Is it the fear of rejection? The men don't want to be rejected. Is that why they are not approaching? Let's take this call. Good evening, caller. Good evening.
Good evening, Brother Tav. Good evening.
Hi, good evening.
Owen. Good evening, Minister Joshua. And good evening, Tash.
Trish.
It's Trish.
Trish, sorry.
All right. What would you like to say, sis?
Sorry. You know, I don't know. But when I was single, I only got married 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I find it hard with Christian men because they don't talk much, the one that they don't talk much, right? And the one that talk much, they talk too much. And it's like there was no...
I was going to say, I know one that does talk a lot.
My experience, I don't expect it Brother John to be everybody reality. You understand? And then they weren't the Christian guys, they weren't constant. So I am not bashing them because, you know, this is the one thing that we cannot control is marriage. Like, we can't control who choose us as women. We're born as wife. We can't control who choose us, right? So they need to find us. And we can't tell them, look at me here, find me. You have to be, you know, spirit-led to be found. You understand? So there's a big thing. And like back in the days, moms used to meet up and they said, I've got a daughter. And one said, I've got a son. And then they exchange few arguments and they go, oh, we should meet, but we won't meet up and whatever. And they do it in dodginess, but they meet up. The one bring the son and one bring the daughter. And they do it. And you meet up and then they sit at the corner and they talk and they watch and, you know, and then they see and they encourage. We don't have that anymore.
It's like an arranged marriage.
It is like an arranged marriage, but nobody's forcing.
No forcing. Yeah.
It wasn't forced. It wasn't forced. It was like, I've got a daughter and they tell you how my daughter stay. She's well read. She got this amount. You know, parents can brag about their kids. Yeah. And they brag. And they said, yes, I think this one would have suit. And they go home and they have a little conversation and say, you know, Mary and Mary got one son. We should make. And they do it in secret. They didn't tell you like, oh, I'm going to take you to see Mary's son because Mary got one son up there. They did it in secret. So then you don't even know that you were being set up. Right? We don't got that anymore, parents talking about the kids and then they say, oh, I think we should do this. We don't have that anymore. We don't have that family community. As they reach 18, everybody want to run. They want to go off to university. They want to go out and live their life. And everybody is so educated now. I find marriage is so hard to, when they say two people come together as one, that rubbing, that hedging, rubbing, it takes a lot. And this, I can understand why people, like during the pandemic, people had this high divorce rate and stuff like that. Because we don't spend time with each other. We're not committed like how people used to be committed. Because, look, I can do better when I'm all by myself.
Yeah.
Interesting.
You understand? People are, I can do better all by myself. But since I've been married, I'm not going to lie. It's not for the faint-hearted.
Sis, I would say you're of the more mature age. You said, is it 2 years you've been married?
Yeah.
How did your husband win you over? What was how did it work? Was he forthcoming, or did you have did you have to wink a couple of times? How did it work?
So he wasn't even in England. He was in Jamaica.
Okay.
And he spent a lot of phone calls, and I did a lot of rejection because I'm saying, look, I can't do this long relation thing. It's not me. You know, and first of all, I've got my head set on God. I can't take no distraction now. And I did tell him, like, I don't want you. Oh. So even now he's going, how come you didn't want me? How come you end up married? And that was like our laughter. Like every time he said it, I have to laugh. You know? But it's not for the faint-hearted. I am not going to say it's something, because when you become in one, you've got to rub that friction to become one, to fit in the jigsaw. It's not easy, you know? So I don't want people to think, oh, we've got to get married. No, the Bible doesn't say everybody has to get married. Some people have to live at eunuch. And some people still need to choose to be single because it's better off sometime to be, you know? And we've got the women are so picky. Women are picky. You understand? And men, sometimes they I don't think they understand communication, because somewhere along the line the woman gone far and they're still lagging behind, or the man is in front and the woman lagging behind. The communication is just too far apart.
The women are way advanced, is it? The women are way advanced.
No, there's one always like on a spectrum. It doesn't matter what qualification you got. You got the communication got to be on one, and sometimes it's just too far apart. Like it's just too far apart.
Hear that.
You understand? And it makes life difficult. Because sometimes you just there and you just want to say, you want to have a moan, and the person take it personal. I'm like, don't you taking it so personal? I just want to sit there and listen. I don't want you to comment or anything. But you've got to have two penters, and the two penters you had, make it wrong, and then I'm getting up in my feelings, and then you get up in your feelings, and then we're not talking for a couple of days.
Marriage is a wonderful thing.
It is. So I'm not saying, I know, but it is. So I'm just like, people we can't control our destiny and timing where we're going to be chosen, you know, to be a wife. We can't. So we need to stop this foolishness about this expectation. Mary married, I should be married. You need to stop that. We need to stop it. Thank you, Brother John. Bye.
God bless you. Thank you.
Bye.
Say hi to your husband. Okay, let's do this.
Interact and call the studio on 07 534 610 422.
Okay, last 20 minutes. Let's make it nice and snappy. You want to call in? You got something to say? Get it off your chest now.
Come on, guys, I want to hear the men's opinion.
Where are the men?
This is what we're talking about.
This is it.
That's right.
For my sake, this is the problem. You get the girls, the women who've got all the opinions. Where are the guys?
Is it fear of rejection?
Right. We want to hear it from your mouth.
Yep.
Why are
Absolutely.
Christian men not approaching Christian women?
This is it.
Are they afraid? What's the reason? Come and be your real self and come and tell us. We want to learn.
We want to know.
We want to hear from you.
Is it fear of rejection? Most men I've spoken said the black women are too controlling and they can't take the stress.
And maybe there was just to add to that. I think sometimes I've heard men say before in the past when we've had these conversations, it's like the men want to talk and they want to say what they need to say, but are the women prepared to hear what the men actually have to say? Are they prepared to handle what they have to say as it relates to certain things? And that can be a challenge. But I think we need to maybe create platforms and maybe forums where we can have these difficult conversations as it relates to men approaching women, or what's going on with the men, etc. I think and I don't want to digress here. I want us to stay on topic, and I'm so glad that Trisha kind of brought us back.
Yeah.
Us back to what the conversation that we're having today. But I do feel that there is a real need for our brothers to get support. I think they also have to take the responsibility to put themselves in a position to get the support that they need. I think that churches need to put certain things in place. I personally do believe that, from my experience of what I've seen, that men have been somewhat iced out, kind of like erased or eradicated. And men are the foundation. You know, men are supposed to be the head. But when you remove the foundation, then it's like what happens? What are we dealing with? What are we working with?
Stick a pin there, bro. Stick a pin there. Let's just take this call. Hi, good evening, caller. Hi, good evening.
Hi, good evening, Brother Charles.
Greetings, sis. I'm well. How are you?
I'm good.
Get it off your chest. Get it off your chest, sis.
Let me say. I was just listening and I heard what Brother Kessler had to say. And I have to agree with what he's saying, that the men need their own platform to have the discussions. As the women, sometimes, and women, please don't beat me, sometimes we just need to step back and allow the brothers to have their say, because it's evident from this particular show that as women, we have got the most to say. And this is why the men will stay away, because they don't want to come into this platform because they are afraid of rejection, some of the men. I know guys that I've spoken to, they are afraid of rejection. Because we know that as women, we can give a man one look and that's it. It kills his spirit dead right there and then. And we need to stop that. We need to allow the men to be men. We need to allow the men to speak and be heard. And they do need platforms, to have their own discussions as well, especially within the church. Because to me, there's not enough of that going on for the men to have platforms to speak. Sisters, we can talk from now till thy kingdom come. We will always have the most to say. We need to start looking at where are the men in the church and shouting it from the rooftops. We know the men are not there in the church. We need to allow our men to heal, to be mentored, to be nurtured, and to be in a place where they feel confident enough to be approaching women. There are so many issues for our brothers right now. In my eyes, there are so many. I mean, I like to say, I speak to a lot of men, and a lot of them in my, some of them from my own church. I speak to them as well, and they seem quite shy or introvert, or not wanting to engage with women. Why? Because we do. A lot of the time we have that big voice. As women, we have that big voice all the time. We just need to shrink that sometimes and allow the brothers to be the ones that are leading, and allow them to step up to being the leaders that God called them to be, even in the arena of relationships and dating and all of that stuff. Let them do what they need to do.
Can I just ask a quick question with that? When you say let them do what they need to do, but they're not doing it. When we say men and I'm just going by what you said, I really value your opinion. When you say stuff like rejection is part of life. For me as a woman, I have a problem with that. If you cannot take rejection, how are you going to lead me? Like, these are the questions people think in their heads. I also think, in a loving way, it's too soft. Like, my father was not like that. Like, I don't understand, cousins and brothers, they're not like that. That's just too soft. Or, we've got to, walk on eggshells for them. But the conversation is rather not approaching Christian women. A man is supposed to approach a woman. Sometimes it's a yes and sometimes it's a no. So, it's too soft for me. I understand what you're saying in other places, that healing and things like that. But, if a man can't accept rejection, I think that's a problem. That's a problem if that's my future husband. I'm very worried.
But I hear what you're saying. Maybe that is the case. But imagine, take a scenario, for example. If a brother sees a sister that he likes and she's possibly with a potential group of other women, how do you think that brother's going to feel to approach that woman within a group of women when they are all looking at him in a certain way, and then as he approaches that sister, he's rejected in front of a group of women? How does that leave a brother feeling?
Well, the thing is, you have to also. This is not even This is just common sense, right? If there's a group of women and you like a lady, how are you going to approach her? I'm just common sense. It's a group of girls. If you have the confidence to go and she's with 5, 6 of her friends to approach her, then you should have also the confidence for the rejection. Like, this is common sense. If not, you could just say, oh, let's just say we have Yemi over there, or let me think of a different, I would give the same names, Victoria. Let's just say you've got Victoria and you want to speak to Vicky. You can just say, oh, hi, can I just speak to you for a sec, right? If she says, oh, I'm with my friends, she's with her friends. Do you know what I mean? But if she steps out, you can have a conversation. It's about the timing and working it out and having the confidence. Because even for me as a woman, if I'm out with a group of my friends, it's how the guy approaches. Good evening, ladies. How are you? You look amazing. Oh, can I just speak to you for a second? It's the approach. It's learning, but you're only going to know the approach is if you practice. You're never going to understand if it's going to work, not going to work, unless you practice and actually do it. If you just sit there, it's the same girls when the women are in church thinking, oh, I just wait for the husband to come to me. Can you come outside, please? Do you know what I mean? It's the same thing to the guy. Yeah. Can you come out?
But also based on that, we are women who go by what we see and not what we hear from the men as well when, in their approach. Because believe me, I've spoken to brothers that have, they've taken rejection purely just on the basis of the way they looked. And to me, that's wrong. That's wrong.
That's wrong. I disagree with you. I don't. If you are not taking care of yourself as a man, and you want a certain caliber of a woman, and you think you can just dress anyhow, be anywhere, yes, obviously it's about the heart and it's about God. But again, it's common sense. How are you looking?
Yeah, but it's not all. That's not all. Yeah, that's not always the case. It's not every man that looks, pristine, perfect. And
it's not about perfection. It's about being clean. Like this, there's
yeah, I hear that part.
It's true. Like these are the things we don't talk about. That's how I want us to be. I know I'm being very particular.
No, you need to be.
What is the question here? Because if he's just wearing any shirt coming to say hello to me, even as a man, if a woman's looking anyhow, you're not going to be attracted. She also has eyes. Do you know what I mean? Just because you're a guy, I don't have to say, oh, amazing. He's a guy who spoke to me. Oh, I'm so excited. No. What's your approach? How do you look like? How are you speaking to me? All these things happen. And sometimes in the Christian church, you're just too soft with the guys. I think it's too soft. And sometimes go to the forum, have the real talk with the men. Let the men tell you, do this A, B, C, D. Why don't you try that? And rejection is a good thing. It really is. Even with God, He doesn't give us everything that we want, does He? Sometimes we'll be praying, please, please, please. It says, no, 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 no. Sometimes you've got to learn sometimes. That's just why.
Yeah, but you've made an interesting point about rejection is a good thing. How do you explain that to a brother when he has been rejected? Because a lot of them don't take it very well. Is that about their upbringing, or is it about the teaching that they lack, or what is that about?
Identity. It's about your identity, because this is one of the things I'm also seeing, creating these events as well, and creating a community. I'm also at the moment creating forums and communities for men and women to talk like this, but it's about your identity, yourself as your person. When you're rejected, a lot of people, it depends of how they've been raised, but if you're not strong in your identity and your character of who you are, of course it's going to hurt your heart. Whether you're a man or whether you're a woman, but who are you? What do you believe? What's identity? A lot of people don't, even women. A lot of people, like I gave you the example, if I just stay in church, it's going to find me in church. I don't have to go nowhere, no conferences. I am fat. No, you're not fat. It's not. Can he see you, please? Can he see you? That's what I'm trying to say on both sexes. We can't be just comfortable. And obviously discernment, and God will tell you, I'm praying about it, but it's identity is a big crisis.
I still believe our men they are a work. There's a work to be done with the men as well. I really still believe there is a great work to be done with the men that only the men can do. And the leaders of the church, those established men in the church, they're the ones that need to be addressing the issues with the men. Yes, because, you've got a church full of sisters, and as we know, the ratios, it's 7 women to 1 man in the church nowadays. Those are the ratios. Come on now. And after that, you know, one sister's going to find her potential and the rest are going to get left on the shelf. Come on now. You know, our leaders, they need to take responsibility.
I've got a question for Pastor, because of what you're just saying there, one of the people put a question that says, for the pastors of the churches, why are you not encouraging singles events? You hardly hear about that in church. I'm not a pastor. I'm going to let Pastor answer.
We'll address that once the caller's off the line. Anything else you want to say?
My pastor encourages singles events in my church,
so
I'm probably one of those fortunate people, because I've had a couple of, you know, myself and another colleague, Reverend Grace Goodrich, I will call her name. We have run a couple of conferences, and then again, you see the lack of men that don't attend. It's predominantly women.
It's true.
So something needs to give in our churches. Men,
absolutely.
Come on. Leaders, where are you? Speak up.
Brilliant.
Amen.
Sis, we're running short on time, but anything else lastly you want to say? If not, we're going to cut the call.
No, that's my say.
Brilliant.
I feel good now.
Thank you.
Say. Thank you.
God bless you.
Blessings,
all right,
everyone.
Bye. Okay, bye for now. Pastor Owen, Trish just mentioned that singles ministries, is that something that is prevalent in the churches or not? Is it?
I assume it's prevalent in many churches. Singles. Every church has got a single person, haven't they?
Should do.
And I think, you know, when we think of single ministries, I'm not sure that we have to think in single ministries that we have to come to an event, and that's the only way we can have single ministry. Single ministry is done individually as well in churches in many, many different ways. We've all got single people in churches, so I'm sure they're doing it in many, many different. How long have you been married, Trish?
Oh, I'm not married. Married. That's another story for another time.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's another show. That's a whole another show.
See, you know, so I have to ask a question. You know, to that thing. I am advocating that the reason why we men, and we shouldn't be having this conversation in this way, but we do. We men, something has happened, and until we deal with the roots of what happened, we're never going to get our men back. And that's what I'm trying to find out. You see, you know, you keep asking men, why don't they? But we need to know, recognize that something has happened to us. You know, there's something that's happened. You've just been talking about it. I'm 5'4", I'm a small guy, and I've been around a bit. And I know what it's like to be rejected and all this kind of stuff that we have. And, you know, many find it funny. We've just been talking about the way certain people dress. You know, we just been mentioning, one lady says, well, you know, we have to be careful because some guys haven't got the money to buy certain types of clothes. Now, as you mentioned the word, Trish, she says, well, if you want that caliber of woman, you see, now, in what way do we mean caliber? By the way you dress, or by your attitude, or by the way you see? And I don't even want to get into the conversation, but when we look at this kind of thing, a lot of this is going around. You see, first of all, we'll say things like, well, okay, I'm not always going to be a lawyer. I always say this. A lawyer is only as good as a lawyer while he's a lawyer. What happens if he's unemployed? He's just an unemployed lawyer. An unemployed gospelman is the same. You see what I mean? And I think we have to be very careful now that we get into a position where we say, this is what we're saying at the beginning, that actually you can't approach me until you have A, B, C, D, and E. And I'm telling you, and I really believe this happens with men and women, we all have our prefixed. How many of us have gone to God and said, who is this woman?
Yes,
Could God really tell me, who do I need to be around? You know, who do I need to be around? I mean, my wife is dark. She's a dark-skinned woman. And I'll be honest with you, we're both the same height. And then she'll put on these big shoes, so now she's 7 foot tall. You know what I mean? You see, but the one sister just came on, she should be married for 2 years. That's what the sister said, you heard it. And she said, it's not easy. And I'm thinking after 2 years, it's not easy already. You wait till you're up to 30 years and see how you get on then. You see, you know, I am saying to the people, the body of Christ, the men and women, singles ministry is more than we, and this is nothing against your events, because I think they need to be done. We need to get together. We need to know that being together as single people and wanting to be married, we're supposed to both have the same intention, that we are looking for the same thing. Now, if we're both looking for, well, you can't marry me unless you have £100,000 a year. You've got problems. You can't, a lady says to me, and I'm going to stop now. A lady says to me, real true story. Lady says to me, someone came, she says someone knocked the door and gave her a flyer for pizza or something, and she slammed the door in his face. Well upset with him. Don't want to do that. And I said, how do you know that he wasn't your husband to be? She said he couldn't be. There's no way God would send me someone that... I said, how do you know he's only doing that till he finishes college? Till he finishes his law degree, till he finishes... And that's where some people are at. I'm just saying that we don't want to be writing off anyone, because you know as well as I do that, you could be the worst of today and the best of tomorrow. Yep. Who's to say what tomorrow's going to bring? And I'm only saying that to give credit to my wife, because the Lord said to me, he will restore the years that locusts have eaten.
Amen.
So if you get with the right person at the right time, it won't be a case of he's this, she's that. It's two people coming together. Hence us talking about one flesh. Now, here's where we want teaching. When people get married, we're not taught what one flesh is. We're taught, we go down the aisle, and then, some people, I'm telling you I've married people, so I know. They go down the aisle thinking that magic is down the altar. Ain't no magic down the altar. If you've gone down the altar with somebody with smelly breath, and you've gone down there with someone with smelly socks and dirty underwear, you're taking that home.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm saying that there must be something happens before, and what happens is spiritual, because we talk about it. We're supposed to be spiritual people. Yeah. Now I'm all for your event, because if God led me to come to your event, great. But can God lead me anywhere else? You see, for some of us, our wife is in Tesco shopping right now, but we're just not going to go. You see? So I'm just saying. Well, you know what? I totally agree. But the question was us in church. See, we in church get blamed all the while for people that should be doing what they should be doing. We got to live life. And this is why I'm not really very denominational and not about the church building. My ministry says to people, you get up and go wherever you need to go. You said it already. At work, when you're at work, you get asked out on a date from people at work. And rightly so. Rightly so. You're an attractive woman, and so therefore somebody makes it, but it's how you act towards them too. See, so this challenge really is to and fro. But the question we're asking is why men? I still don't think we've touched why men have got to this place. And I don't think we want to go there. I don't think we have made the effort to find out why we are broken. Because that's how I see men nowadays. We're broken. We're not allowed to be who we are. I'm sorry, we were born to lead.
That's right.
And you go to the woman and you say, yes, I think you're beautiful. I'd like to buy you a house. She says, I already got 2. I have 3 houses already. We said, well, we'll buy you a car. I already got a Mercedes and 2 more in the garage. As Miles Monroe used to say, I want to bring home the bacon. The men want to bring home the bacon, and the woman say, well, you don't need to because I own the pig. I mean, what are we going to do, man? You see, and that's not women's fault. I'm not blaming women. I'm just saying that when we got to find ourselves again, men, and that's my thing for men.
Sorry, Josh, I did cut you off on that caller as well. So go ahead, bro. Apologies.
But anyway,
go ahead.
No, this is a fantastic show. Absolutely fantastic.
Brilliant.
And there's a particular verse somewhere in the book of Corinthians where it talks about there are many instructors in Christ, but there is not enough fathers. And I think that, coming back to the point I wanted to make about, providing that space for men, because, because we really didn't get a chance to really stay on the question.
Yeah.
But we've covered a lot. And I think a space needs to be created for men. And I wanted to make a point about when I used to be a part of 1 and 2 men's ministry. To be honest with you, I thought that the content, I know the church was trying, but I thought the content was just terrible. We talk about, sometimes why are men not doing it? Sometimes men, for example, if you live in a household where you don't have a father, you don't know how, there are certain things that you may not know how to do. So I think this is where we provide this space in the church where we teach men how to be godly men, how to, prepare them to be a husband. What does it mean to be these all kind of things. I've been to men's ministry and they're just talking about a pile of rubbish, a load of nonsense. Yeah, it's good that we can be physical, we can do the sports and whatever not. But it comes back to what Trisha was saying about identity, knowing who you are. And this is where we need to be teaching men from a biblical perspective of who they are, and how they are supposed to be, that will help them to, let's say, for example, in terms of grooming, how to approach women, how to speak women, how to under your fight. Just like one of the callers said, that, you know, for women in church, there are so many different programs going on in church for the sisters, but there's hardly anything. You know, sometimes when you go on social media, you see all these posters and flyers going on. The women are doing this, the women are doing that. You hardly see anything for men. Hardly anything. There's nothing going on. And you know the reason why that is because churches have bought into this idea of this female-dominated ministry because of the commitment, because of how females are made up, because of commitment, because of finances, all these different kinds of things, and they've just left the men out, you know. And we do need to give men back their space. They need help, they need support, but at the same time as well, we as men, we have to take responsibility for our own actions and put ourselves in a position where we can get the help and the support that we need, etc. I think it's been a fantastic show, absolutely fantastic. I don't think we really covered because we really didn't come back to the point.
Still didn't really get the answers. Yeah, we still haven't got the answers.
We need to come back to this. If men can be honest, see, this is the thing. I do believe that men talk. I do believe men talk because when they go to the barbers, they talk. When they go and they're meeting their brothers and sisters, to talk about football, they talk. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it's about men having that platform and that space where we can talk and really say, I said it earlier on, are the women really prepared to hear what the men have to say? Because maybe for some men, they find that some Christian sisters are not nice and they're turned off by the behaviour. And they can also say that about brothers. But, you know, anyway, I'll just conclude there.
Wonderful. We've gone over time.
I'll be finished.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead, sis. We've gone over time anyway, so I was just going to say.
Just one tiny thing from your point as well, because, you know, sometimes it just sounds like, where are you guys? Where are the men? But you are right. Sometimes women do talk too much, right? And sometimes they do override. And sometimes they're not given an opportunity for the men to speak. But the reason why this happens, unfortunately, is because the guys are not speaking. But, yeah, ladies, we also need to take on that responsibility and say, actually, let's give them a bit more opportunities. And in terms of men's group, I'm just going to mention there's 12-1 Men on Instagram. There's very biblical different forums and communities that people can find. I don't know, maybe if it's a matter of with the men listening, maybe I don't know where you put all like your notes or we put it in the comments, but I know quite a lot of few like biblical like men who have groups, and it's fun and it's young. And when I say young, in a sense of like 21 plus, 30, 40, but you get to speak and be open and really have these conversations. There is out there.
Awesome.
Amen.
Awesome.
Amen.
Hopefully get you back on, Trisha. You got so much to say.
Oh, that's it. That's if they want me back on the back.
You don't talk too much. It's the others. We're going to try and get you back on. Thank you for joining us, and we hope all goes well with the event next week. Just give it one more plug, Trisha.
Okay, so come and join us at Facebook Connections. We are all about Christian singles. We've got Christian Singles Night of Social Mixers. We have one more ticket left for men, actually, for tomorrow, Tottenham Court Road, 21 to 30. Next month, we've got 28 to 42, and we've got 50 plus coming soon. So please, you can find us. If you just put Facebook Connections, you can find us on Eventbrite. If you put Facebook Connections on Instagram or on TikTok, we're very easy to find. The name is Faith Filled Connections. And, yeah, we really look forward to hosting you, and just come on down and just make friends. It's not about, finding the one. I know that's a conversation. It's an intentional place for you to be around believers and have a really good time and enjoy yourself and just laugh until your belly hurts. I hope if you're into that, then come on down.
Awesome. We're going to get you back on. We have to do a part 2. It's already been asked. Men do talk. Preparation is the key. It's more a spiritual thing. Can there be a part 2 again? You can give me the house and the Mercedes. Okay. Yeah. Listen, apologies to those that didn't get through and wanted to get through. We're going to try and do it again sometime soon. But men, come on, man. We need to hear more from you. I think we had just one man calling today, one brother. So when you got the opportunity to speak, man, step up. That's the first thing you do. Put your foot forward, and make a way. All right, brilliant, Trisha. Thank you again. God bless you. My Pastor Owen, thank you. Minister Kesler, God bless you. We will see and speak again real soon. The show is recorded. It's on YouTube, on our dedicated YouTube channel, the Chatbout Talkshow. The audio will be up on my Mixcloud page, which is DJ Brother Charles on Mixcloud. All right, until next week, good night, God bless, have a great rest of the week. We will see and speak again real soon. Good night, we're out.
God bless everyone.
Bye for now.
Wonderful. Thank you.